behind me is a mass grave holding 950 of our ancestors. Perhaps not all of us had direct ancestors who were buried here, but our ancestors had siblings and other relatives who were buried here. And by honoring them, honoring the people buried here today, we sanctify the memories of all Bolekhiv ancestors. Our society is pleased to dedicate this plaque here today with special thanks to Joseph Adler. I'd now like to introduce Rabbi Mordechai Ball, the Chief Rabbi of Lvov.
We came here today for our two heroes that are alive. They can relate the past and bridge the past to the future. That's our heroes, Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Shlomo Adler. We came over here today to this mass grave, and the question is, what's the concrete message? What are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to take? What's the message for us? What are we supposed to learn? What's the lesson? You have two types of questions. One question is, why did God do that? Where was He? Those are non-productive questions. Those are the bad questions. They don't get you anywhere. They get you under the pillow, under the blanket. You don't want to face the world. You don't want to continue. You give up. But there are other people that in face of tragedy, like our two heroes here, Rabbi Shlomo and Rabbi Yosef, which Rabbi Yosef's father was murdered in that house that we just were there just before. We have people here that in face of tragedy, they come out even stronger, with more resolve, with more courage to go and fight the evil and with good and create a beautiful world for the next generation, for the future. This is why we came here today. If you don't learn and you don't respect dead people, then you don't respect live people, you don't respect humanity. If we don't respect dead people, in essence, what we're saying is that we don't respect, we don't appreciate, we don't recognize and acknowledge that the fact that they were the ones that paved the road to life for our success today. If we don't recognize what the people in the past generations did, we wouldn't have a world today if not for them. And actually they killed themselves that we should have a future today. And if we don't respect, so I'm very thankful to the government that was helpful over here, to all the activists that helped along to put this together, to organize this, so we should have the proper burial for this, for these holy martyrs, for the Kedoshim here, so that the world can actually learn something from them and not just spit over it and skip over it and pretend it never happened, because otherwise we can't learn anything in the future. The Rishon Tzaddik, the Rabbi Yisrael Friedman from Ruzhin, which is buried in Sadgara and Chernovitz, he had a great sage. He passed 150 years ago. There's a story about he was walking on the road and then he heard a cry from a small child and she was hiding behind the boards. He went over to the board and grabbed it away, and he said, "What happened? Is everything okay?" And she's crying. He said, "What happened?" He said, "We're playing hiding or seek and nobody found me." He says, "Is the good?" "It's good. Nobody found you. You won." She says, "No, but nobody was even looking for me." We have to create a society that we actually feel that somebody's looking. The greatest punishment is to exclude somebody. That's the greatest punishment in this world and next. We exclude somebody. We have to think about each other. We have to at least perceive that somebody's thinking about us. Yizkor Elikim, may God remember. Many times, many Kedoshim, many unfortunate holy martyrs don't have anybody to remember them. Many of them didn't leave anybody. They were murdered, they were killed in cold blood, and nobody ever came after that to recognize, to mourn and say Kaddish, or even to remember. We're asking God to remember. But we have to say this very strictly. We will never forget. And we're for sure we don't have the authority to forgive. Millions were killed. 6 million out of 6 million, 1 million was killed in Western Ukraine out of 6 million Jews. 1 million in this territory here. How can we have the authority and the chutzpah to forgive for somebody else? He paid his life with it, and we're going to sit here and be good guys and forgive. But the question is, what do we learn? And the lesson is, we have to fight it, evil with good. We have to be more enthusiastic with our good deeds than them with their evil deeds.
אני נכדתכם, ברכה עין הרצרוביץ', בת גאה ובראש מורם נחת, כדי לעדכן אתכם. לספר לכם שהבן שלכם, הסבא שלי, סוחר, הצליח להגן על משפחתו ולהציל אותה מידי הנאצים. סבא סוחר הצליח לקיים את משפחתו בתנאים קשים ומרודים. הוא עלה לישראל עם 5 ילדיו והקים שבט וולנר לתפארת. היום הוא קבור בצפת, בקבר שצופה על הר מירון והרי הגליל, היכן שהתהלכו אבות אבותינו. אני רוצה גם לספר לכם שהנכד שלכם, אבא שלי, אברהם, זה שרץ אלייך סבתא איתה כל יום שישי ברוסקי בולכוב, ותמיד הכנת לו איזה ממתק או מטבע קטן, לא שוכח אותך עד היום. הוא גדל להיות אלם חמודות, הוא נלחם להגן על זכותו כיהודי לחופש ועצמאות ועל עמו ב-67 וגם ב-73. הוא זוכר את בית העץ שהיה לכם עם החצר הגדולה והסוסים שעמדו בחצר ולא מפסיק לדבר עליכם. אני כאן לומר לכם שהנכדים שלכם והנינים שלכם לא שכחו אתכם. אתם וילדיכם נעלמתם כי לא הייתם, אבל אתם חיים אצלנו בליבנו ודרכנו. אנחנו זה אתם. אנחנו ממשיכים אתכם ואת המורשת שלכם ולא ניתן לאף אחד לעצור אותנו.
I think that we are accompanied also by the remembrance of those from the generation of our parents and grandparents who have been risking their lives to save those neighbors. And many, many others who, watching powerlessly the death truck passing towards the Taniava forest, had a broken heart and have been feeling that some of the humanity were let out with them. That is why they did not speak easily about that. It is thus the task of our generation to preserve all these places of massacres and to pass down the memory of it to the next generation in order to avoid those atrocities in the future.
Herschel Aldman and wife, Mrs. Solomon Hill from Vienna, Mrs. Gershon, her son Gidal, Jack Green's mother and brother. These are the names known to us, Bolechow Jews, victims of the first action, October 28th through the 29th, 1941. Buried in the mass grave is in the Stavenka forest, which encloses him from all sights.